Shovel. The flathead shovel is arguably the most important tool for building dirt jumps and pump tracks. This is my favorite shovel, but it's seen better days. So today we're gonna head in the shop, tune this thing up, and we're gonna come back out here for some building and riding. Before we head in the shop, we gotta hose this thing off. Now that we're in the shop, let's go over what tools we're gonna need to get this shovel back in action. So first off, we're using a lot of power tools. We're definitely gonna need safety glasses. We're gonna use a bench grinder to even out the cutting edge and sharpen that. We're gonna use an angle grinder to take off the rust and get a fresh layer of silver metal there. We're gonna use a random orbital sander to get the handle back in action and make sure we don't get any splinters and get a good surface to refinish. And then we're gonna use boiled linseed oil to preserve everything. This is gonna protect the wood and it's gonna protect the metal. Now, if you don't have these power tools, that's okay. You can get the same job done. It's just gonna take you a bit longer, but what you're gonna use is a file, just a regular flat file. Then we're gonna use sandpaper for the handle, and then you can use steel wool to really polish the blade back into shape. I've done all of these before, but now that I have power tools, I can get the job done much quicker and get back out digging in the dirt and riding my bike. A good shovel has a good cutting edge. That's what's gonna cut through roots and grass and turf and things like that. And so we're gonna use the bench grinder here, and we're gonna even this out, take down these corners, and put a nice sharp edge on it so it cuts nicely when we dig. Check that out. That'll cut some grass and roots, won't it? Now I'm gonna use the angle grinder to take off the rust and get it down to a nice, smooth, shiny surface. So this is what I'm using. It's got one of the sandpaper flap discs on it, and this is an 80 grit disc, but it's pretty worn down. I don't want a fresh, strong grit sandpaper because I'll just cut through the blade at that point. What I'm trying to do is just polish it and just take it down just a little bit. So this should be perfect. I've also got my shop vac hooked up right here, so hopefully this sucks up most of the metal dust that comes off of this as I'm sanding it. Was that overkill? Maybe. Was it cool? Yep. So it's looking pretty good. I'm gonna touch it up with some steel wool now, hit the spots that I couldn't hit with the angle grinder because of the size and all the curves. And does it need to be perfect? No. This is a tool that I use to dig in the dirt with. I want it pretty close. I want it smooth. I want most of the rust gone because then the rust stays off of it. All right, the shovel's starting to look really good. So what we're gonna do next is take care of the handle. I'm gonna hit this with the random orbital sander, take this down a little bit, take the ridges off, and just get it nice and smooth. I've got 120 grit sandpaper, so it's just gonna get a nice clean finish on here, and then we can oil it up. Okay, so it's all sanded now, it looks awesome. Next thing I need to do is use a little shop vac and vacuum this out so I get all the dust out of all the cracks and everything so that the oil is able to soak into the wood where we want it and not just collect with all the dust. All right, we're almost done. So now we're gonna protect all this hard work with some boiled linseed oil. What I'm gonna do is put some gloves on, pour this into a shop rag, and then use that to rub it into here and let it soak in. The nice thing with linseed oil is you can continue to use it, sand it, re-oil it, and it's not something like a polyurethane where it's gonna eventually chip off or whatever. You can protect your handle and the blade with the same stuff, so you just treat the whole shovel with it and get on with your day. So now that I've got oil all over everything, I'm gonna grab a clean rag and I'm gonna wipe it down one more time just because I wanna take off the excess oil. This isn't the Hawaiian Tropic bikini team. You gotta take the oil back off of this thing before you get to work with it. All right, we got this thing all cleaned up, polished up, tuned up. It is looking good. It's ready for some dirt. And the cool thing is, now that it's all cleaned up and polished, it's actually gonna stay clean a lot easier. Dirt's not gonna stick to it, it's less likely to rust. It's gonna be an easier shovel to maintain when you start with it maintained like this. So I would highly encourage everybody, take care of your shovels like this, and in between uses, clean them off, oil them up, and hang them up somewhere dry. All right, let's get out there, work on some features in the backyard, and do some riding. Before we start digging with this thing, let me show you what I got on the Traeger for dinner tonight. All right, this is a boneless prime rib, and I cooked it at 450 for 20 minutes, dropped it down to 250, and should be done in a couple hours. First task for this finely tuned machine is the run-in for the quarter pipe. So it's got a bunch of grass growing up on it, which I'm gonna shave off with my new sharp blade. And then I'm gonna fill in the crack right at the bottom there too, where apparently mice have been running in and out. So let's tune this up real quick, and then we'll finish up the kids line and ride it in, then have some dinner. What'd you guys build?
We built a jump / hip to a whale tail. It's kind of like a dirt whale tail.
So it's like a step in, step out?
Yeah.
You guys want to test it?
Sure, yeah.
All right.
You're doing it first, Dad.
I'm doing it first.
Looks sketchy. Don't hurt yourself, Dad.
I'll try not to.
I don't think he knows what he's doing.
I'll try it again. Ooh, that was smoother than me, nice. Yeah, buddy. That was awesome, Milo. Did you guys make this just for kids?
Yes.
What's your t-shirt say, Owen?
Camping is intense. Melody.
That was pretty smooth, huh? Juno.
Finally!
Okay guys, prime rib's done. Let's get in for dinner.
Steak!
What's your favorite food, Owen?
Steak.
What's your second favorite food?
Steak.
What about your third favorite food?
Steak. Cause look it. My head.
Oh, and how is that?
Good.